Good day, everyone. This is Jake Kitzman, Camp Ripley's Natural Resource Manager. I'm here today to give you an overview of how to set up a Camp Ripley iSportsman account so you can come out and hunt on the installation or recreate on the installation generally if you are a service member who's currently serving or retired. So today we're just going to give you an overview of what the site looks like, how to get there, how to set up an account, and then how to check in and check out when you do go downrange to hunt. First thing you'll want to do is just Google search or use your favorite search engine to search for Camp Ripley iSportsman. It's generally the first link that's going to pop up for you. Just make sure it does say Camp Ripley iSportsman on there. If you just search for iSportsman, it does bring you to a lot of different installations, iSportsman's web pages. So you don't want to sign up for a permit at a different installation. So when you first get to the home page, this is what you're going to see. It should say Camp Ripley at the top. If you're doing this on your phone, it does look a little bit different than on your desktop. If you log in on your desktop, the first things you're going to see is this Camp Ripley stuff, and then all of these red tabs will just be located in descending order there, and you'll just have to scroll down a little bit farther to see the stuff that I'm showing you here today. One of the first things you need to do is review the information that's available to you, and I'll steer you up to a drop-down menu here before we get into the other tabs that are available to you. This drop-down menu gives you a few different options, some of which are available in the tabs below. The permits information and alerts and news tabs are in the drop-downs below. They give you a lot of different information on what's going on the installation. If you're a veteran or service member who's able to hunt at our Arden Hills facility, the AHATS information tab gives you maps and access to a lot of different information for hunting down there. This maps tab is one that I like to steer hunters to because it has a lot of great georeferenced PDFs that can be used on the installation by downloading the Avenza Maps app from your app store. You can then download these PDFs and use them through that app to navigate around the installation. A big word of caution on these is that the maps in this section do not accurately depict all the areas that are open and closed to hunters, and you should really only use these as a reference of your general location. It's the real-time maps that populate once you're logged in that shows you actually what's open to you at any given time throughout the day. These should just be used as a reference of where you're at and different areas on the installation. The regulations tab under the drop-down menu just brings you to the different rules for recreating on the installations, and this open areas tab will bring you to a tab that is available to you on the main page just the same. Really, the maps tab is the biggest one that will provide you with a lot of different information for getting around the installation. So on your desktop, again, you'll just be seeing this home page. Normally throughout the season, in this area here right below the triangle, there's going to be big red letters telling you what days we're open and closed or any pertinent information to hunters. We try and keep that updated throughout the season, and again, you'll just have to scroll down on your phone to see that stuff. So just moving down the page, it'll just give you kind of a layout here. We have this set up where the most important things you're going to need to get started on the installation are listed for you. I have 3 different sections set up here for you that outline on what to do before entering Camp Ripley. This is really if you don't have an account created already, or if you don't have any permits or anything like that. And then moving down, it gives you an overview of how to enter the installation and how to check in and out. And then an overview of what you need to do to exit the installation each evening. If you're camping or staying on the installation and are housing, it does give you information here about who to contact. All reservations for camping and lodging are done through our housing office on the installation. We've got their phone number here and just some pertinent info for you. And then it just goes over a few of the really important rules for just coming on the installation. There's no target shooting allowed anywhere on the installation while you're here. And then we do have a policy regarding personally owned firearms here that you can review. So moving back to the top, as I mentioned, this video is geared toward folks that really don't have an account set up and haven't been to the installation already. So we're going to start under the prior to entering Camp Ripley section here. And the first thing you really want to do is go through and review the permits and alerts / news tabs. Those are going to give you information that you really need to get on the installation and about what sort of account and permissions you have while you're here. So starting with the permits tab, this is where you'll go to identify what sort of account type you have. This is important because hunters who are prior service or are currently in the military, they get different permissions to do different things than those who are just part of the general public. If you have served in the past and are retired, disabled, or currently serving, you do need to submit some verification of your service to the email provided here. So just go ahead and select your user type. If you're prior service military of some form, you're either going to be category A, A1, or A2. If you are a DoD civilian, that is a federal DoD civilian, or you work for the Department of Military Affairs, you'll fall under category B. You also need to send me some verification of your employment with the state or federal government. That can be as simple as just an email from your official email account, or any other verification method. If you're a member of the general public and are a civilian, you don't need to submit any sort of validation of your status. Just pick that when you set up your account, and that will get you validated. If you do intend to hunt with youth hunters under the age of 18, either military or civilian, they do need to have their own accounts so they can check in and check out. We don't allow group check-ins and check-outs. So this can be a little bit difficult if you're coming out with 3 or 5 kids. But we do need them to have their individual accounts. The military youth, they get the same permissions as their parents. They can participate in the different veterans-only hunting events out here or fishing on the installation. For the D1 civilian youth, they will only be allowed to participate in archery hunting that's open to the public. So once you've reviewed the different account types, just keep a note on that in the back of your mind that you're going to need to use this when you go to set up your account. This gives you, so the next section down here gives you some information on how to validate your account and what you need to do that. And then just the different permits that will be available to the different user types. The first permit here is Camp Ripley Archery Deer Hunting. That's the big hunting event. Archery deer hunting on Camp Ripley is open to the public and to soldiers throughout the entire state's archery season. Scrolling down, we do offer turkey hunting. That's only for those prior service individuals and their youth hunters under the age of 18. So you do need to be category A, A1, or A2, or a dependent youth of one of those folks. And you will be a category D user type. Again, you do need to submit verification of eligibility to participate in that. The next hunt down, or the next permit down, is Camp Ripley muzzleloader hunting. Again, that's only open to those type A categories, and D, their dependent youth. This is a lottery drawing that goes into this. It's fairly competitive to participate in the muzzleloader hunt, but that is only open to prior service or currently serving individuals. We also offer turkey and deer hunting down at our Arden Hills facility on the north side of the Twin Cities, and fishing at Camp Ripley. Again, all of these events are only open to prior service or currently serving military and their dependent youth. If you are a member of the general public and are a civilian, you would be signing up for the Camp Ripley Archery Deer Hunting Permit. So going back to the home page, we scroll back down here looking at the prior to entering Camp Ripley. The other tab we need to review is the Alerts and News tab. This tab really just lays out the seasons for the coming year. You can see that it's still the 2024 seasons in there. We're working on updating that once the DNR releases the upcoming regulations. This will be updated with the current season that is open to you. Again, this starts with archery seasons down to the muzzleloader and turkey seasons. And then down at the bottom here, we do publish an annual report of deer harvest on Camp Ripley. This harvest summary will encompass the muzzleloader hunt as well as archery hunting, very similar to what was published in the past for the public archery hunt. Now, moving back to the main page, we just completed step 1 by reviewing those permits and alerts and news tabs. So we're going to go ahead and follow the next step down here. Step 2 is to register and create your account. You can either do this by clicking the hyperlink here or clicking the login register button back at the top. Both of those will bring you to the same area. I'll just click on the hyperlink here. And since we'll be creating a new account today, you'll go ahead and just click the register tab. All right, once you've clicked the register tab, just go ahead and fill out the pertinent information. I've just made up some false information here to plug into the system, and we'll go ahead and get that created by clicking continue. And then it will have you go ahead and fill out all your relevant information that's more personal information in the system. We do require that you fill this information out. This is so we can contact you when you're out hunting or recreating on the installations. If you don't have this in there, it won't allow you to purchase permits. You need to have this information filled out in its entirety. And we get a lot of questions about the vehicle. We request that you use a primary vehicle. If you're not bringing out the same vehicle every time, it's not the end of the world, and you don't need to switch it every time. But we do request that you try and stick to your primary vehicle here. That's for your safety and just for our tracking abilities when you're out recreating on the installation. All right, I've filled in most of the boxes here that you would need to fill out in order to get a permit for hunting on Camp Ripley. A couple things I do want to highlight is that we do request that you allow text messages to your phone. We won't be sending you any spam texts or anything like that. This is purely for safety. There are instances that could pop up when you're hunting on the installation where an area that you're in may need to be closed for some reason. Having these text message alerts allowed makes it easier and faster for us to get a hold of you. So please do that. We do have your phone number anyway and can call you. We can also send emails from this, but the text message, as usual, is the most convenient option for so many. Moving down here, I did just put in a notional address. Again, you need to fill out all the required fields here. I have most of it filled out already, but I just wanted to give you a look at what that looks like. I'll fill in my friend John Smith's contact information here, then just a description of your vehicle and what it looks like, and then a valid plate number. We do need that plate number in there. Security does check to make sure that everyone on the installation or that's coming on the installation for recreational purposes, that you are allowed to be on the installation. So just make sure this information is filled out completely. And then lastly, this is your customer type. When we reviewed the permits information there at the beginning, you had to figure out what customer type you were. And I'm going to set this up as a military user type, just so I can show you how to check in and check out, because right now the only thing that's open is fishing, which is only available to military users. So I've selected a military user type here just for the purposes of this video, and click Save. So as a military user, you'll get this acknowledgement that you need to validate your account. You won't get this if you're setting up a civilian user account, but for those military users, just click Accept here, and then it will bring you into this screen. For the civilians and for all, well, really for all users, you're not going to be able to see much here. Right now it will say you have no permits, you haven't completed the safety brief, you can't really do anything, and that's because you have not yet completed the safety brief and no one's validated your account. If you remember back to the Permits tab, it does say at the top of the page to allow about 72 hours for your account to be validated. Most of the time it won't take anywhere near that long, but we do just request that you get in there in advance, and if you're setting up a new account, it takes a little bit. So be patient with us. You will get an email from us, from the account, saying that your account is valid. Then you will be able to see a lot more. All right, we've logged back into Mr. Jim Smith's account here, and you can see that our hunter has a message in their account from the iSportsman admins that his permit or account is now approved and valid. The next step that Mr. Smith will have to do is watch this range safety briefing validation. You do have to do this 2 times a year or you won't be able to acquire any permits. So we'll go ahead and click on that, and you'll start the safety brief. Okay, once your safety briefing finalizes, just go ahead and click Take the Quiz. It's not a difficult quiz. It's just asking you, did you watch this video? Click yes and submit your answers. Once it tells you you've passed the quiz, go ahead and click Continue to Permits, and it will allow you to select which permit you want to buy at this time. Again, this account is set up as a military veteran, so they will be seeing some stuff in here that is not authorized for everybody. If you're a normal civilian user, you will just see the Camp Ripley archery hunting permit in here. You'll just have to add that to your account just the same as we're going to do here. But for our Mr. Jim Smith, we're going to go ahead and purchase the Camp Ripley annual fishing permit. This is a free permit, but we'll add it to the cart. You'll have to go through here and read through the release of liability, and just click Agree when you're done and click Save. We have had some users in the past who are doing this on their phone. Sometimes the screen doesn't scale appropriately, and you just need to scroll to the right on your screen to find that acknowledgement page, and that will allow you to walk through these steps. Once you've gone through that step, just click View Cart. You can see it sitting in your cart there. Again, for the civilian users, this will just be your archery permit here. It will be a $40 fee, but for our user here in front of you, it is a free permit. So go ahead and click Checkout. If you are purchasing the archery hunting permit for $40, you'll confirm your account, and you'll have to go through and put in all of your usual credit card information, just like checking out on any other website. Once this is complete, you'll be able to see that your permit is complete, and your permit will be sitting there. And you can just go ahead and click Return to Home. That will bring you back to your logged in page, and you'll be able to see what's gone on in your account. At this point, now that you have your permit, you can scroll down to the permit. My Permit's at the bottom of your account page. You can see that Mr. Smith does have the Camp Ripley annual fishing permit in there. So at this time, you'll be able to check in from this page. So just go ahead and click the Check In and Check Out button. All right, once I click Check In, you'll see the activity that's available to you based upon your permit. Again, most civilian users will not be able to see this fishing activity. They will only be seeing the Camp Ripley archery hunting activity here, but this is what's open on the installation currently for our A1, A2 users. So I will click Fishing just to get a check-in on there. These are the areas that are open to you. If this was archery hunting, you'd be seeing a longer list here. And you can also view this information on a map. So if you click on the map button, again, you can see in the blue, Farrell Lake is available. That's where we're going to be checking into today. If it was archery season, these red areas throughout the installation would be green. Any area that's green or blue, if it's a lake, you can check into. So I'll just go back to the list because I know I'm checking in at Farrell Lake today. Just gives you a reminder on when you must check out. Fishing, you have to check out by 7:30 p.m. Hunting is a bit different and varies by season. So the turkey season and archery and muzzleloader seasons are a bit different. But for archery hunting, you have to check out at range control by 8 p.m. and on the iSportsman account by 9 p.m. So just click Accept on that acknowledgement and confirm your check-in. And once that's done, your check-in is finished. You can see the time you checked in, and you can see exactly where you're checked in. And once you're checked in, just continue back to My Accounts. You can log out of your account for the day, and you're good to go recreating on the installation. What you will then need to do is go back to the main page. I'll just have you log out of the account that you were in, and we're going back to the main page here. So we've completed everything we needed to do prior to entering Camp Ripley. We've obtained a permit, and I've shown you how to check in on the installation, which is really getting in to the next tab. If you're just coming up for the first time or coming from outside the installation, the first thing you'd want to do on any given day is review what areas are open to you. This is your step number 3 on prior to entering the installation. If you're just sitting at home and you want to know what's open on the installation, you can go to the Open Areas tab here. This will show you what's open to users. Throughout the archery season, there's generally a lot more open, but again, right now, the only things that are open is fishing, so you can see the lakes that are open. This screen basically gives you a best case scenario on what could be available to you. We do allow 150 people maximum to be checked in at any given time on Camp Ripley, and this doesn't reflect the number of people that are checked in. You'll only be able to see that once you've logged into your account. To view that information, you just go back to your home page, and again, we're getting to be on step 1 of entering Camp Ripley. So again, we're just going back to when you're sitting at home. You want to know what's open on camp. You've reviewed that Alerts and News tab and the Open Areas tab to see what's out here, and you've checked into a spot already that was open to you, and then you're able to go hunting or fishing on the installation. What you then need to do is ensure you have a valid ID. Always come with a valid ID before you're entering the gate. Make sure you have your iSportsman permit, which we've already gotten, and then you also have to have a hunting or fishing license to recreate on the installation. That needs to be acquired from the Minnesota DNR, and you can click that hyperlink right here to make sure you have the appropriate license. When you show up to the gates, you can enter through the east or main gate, whichever one's open to you, and just present them with your driver's license or valid state ID, along with your iSportsman permit that gives you permission to enter the installation. Once you've gone through the main gate, you then need to proceed to range control. You can be checked in on iSportsman before getting to range control. In fact, a lot of times we encourage people to do that, but you then have to go down to range control and do one final check-in. You don't even have to talk to anyone there. Just go ahead and get a blue vehicle pass. They'll have a station set up inside the range control office, and you just need to sign for the blue vehicle pass. That's just the one final check at range control for them to talk to you and be able to track where you're at. If you have questions on where range control is, just go ahead and click this Maps tab, and you can pull up the Camp Ripley entry, camping, and services map here. That will show you where range control is. Otherwise, on your favorite search engine, just Google Camp Ripley range control, and you'll be able to see exactly where the range control office. Basically, just head straight in from the main gate, drive for 2 miles till you see the next gate, and it's the building on the left. There will be a sign outside saying Hunters Check In Here. Once you have your vehicle pass and you're checked in on iSportsman, you're able to go out and recreate on the installation. Archery hunting on the installation starts at 6 a.m. and that's when you'll be able to get on, and you're free for the day then. If you want to change the areas you're hunting in throughout the day, you can, and I will show you how to do that. It's a very simple process. If you want to change areas throughout the day, all you need to do is go back into your logged in home page. You just click that check in, check out button again. You will have to check out from the area that you're currently checked into. A word of caution on this: if you're hunting here on a weekend, one of the busy weekends when we're maxed out with hunters, there is a chance that if you log out or check out of the area that you're checked into, that someone may come in behind you and check in. If that happens and you're no longer able to check in, you need to leave. We only allow 150 hunters at a time to be checked in on the installation and be hunting. So be cautious if that situation presents itself to you. To switch areas, you just click the checkout button. Again, you just have to check out. It will ask you if you harvested any game. Today we'll click no, and you confirm your checkout. And then you just find another spot that you'd like to check into by reversing the process, clicking check in, clicking your activity, and finding the area you want to check into, and just follow the process as you did the first time. Confirm your check-in, and then return to your account. All right, once you're done hunting or fishing on the installation, at the end of the night, you need to check back out. So we are moving on down to the exiting Camp Ripley section of the main page. As I mentioned, for archery hunting and most hunting activities, you must exit the hunting area by 8 p.m. You do need to check out on iSportsman by 9 p.m. We just give that little bit of extra cushion for hunters to be able to talk and converse with their friends in range control before they have to check out on iSportsman. For most hunters, you do need to be checked out by 8 p.m. So for exiting the installation, all you need to do is return back to range control. You're going to go into the office and return that vehicle pass that you signed out in the last step, and then just check out on iSportsman, which is a very simple process. You've already seen how to do it, but I'll walk you through it again here today. Again, going back to Mr. Smith's logged in homepage, just click that check in, check out tab, click check out. It will ask you again if you harvested anything. If you did, it will walk you through a process to gather that information. If you're out here deer hunting or turkey hunting, you do still need to register your harvest with the Minnesota DNR. There will be a link on the page here, but you can also just do that through their website or over the phone. Again, you do still have to register your game with the Minnesota DNR. The registration you're doing here is just for installation tracking purposes. So it is a two-part process. But today we're going to click no and confirm checkout and go back to my account. Again, the time of your checkout is confirmed here. So just go back to Mr. Smith's account and you are good to leave the installation. If you fail to check out, there is a 48-hour ban that will result from failing to check out. You will not be able to check back in on iSportsman, and you'll be getting a lot of phone calls from our range control and security staff to verify where you're at. We do track every single person that's downrange, so please comply with that. Otherwise, once you're checked out, that's all you have to do, and that is the process for setting up an account, reviewing the information you need to hunt and fish on the installation, and checking in and checking out when you're coming out to hunt or fish on the installation. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to send an email to this account. Someone from our office will be in touch. You can also reach out to the Camp Ripley Public Affairs Office at 320-616-2784. We hope to see you out there.